morning. Welcome to the Learning Pro Live. My name's Cath Ellis, and we're in for another session of Ask an ID. So let's just do this. So we're going to be focusing today on how to find your first clients. And yesterday I had a really great chat with Amanda Newen, who I just absolutely adore. We'd ran a session on Clubhouse, tried it out. You know, I'm still on the fence. I'm not sure if I like it, if I don't like it. But you know, she said, you know, it was good having everyone chat, but it's there's something wrong with LinkedIn. So it's not going through to LinkedIn. That's a bit of a shame. I don't know what's happened. So, you know, she said it's great because everyone is able to talk with one another at the same time. So I thought that I would actually put a link up, and I should probably, so it's fine. So I've got a link up here. If you would like to come on screen with me and talk to me, no problem at all. You can do that. I'm not sure how popular this is going to be today. Now it's not going through to LinkedIn. So why has that not gone through? Oh, well, we'll just see how it goes. But if you'd like to come onto screen and talk with me about finding your first client, I can have up to 10 people on the screen. So I thought this would be a little bit different. So there's the link. You can literally just go to that link and I'll see you and I'll add you in. So finding first clients was something that I worried a lot about, and actually it was nothing to worry about, because once I started getting clients through, it just ended up being it just ended up that one project led into the next one. But there were a lot of things that I thought about and I planned for just in case I was in the position that I needed to look for clients. So let's just see if we've got any comments from anyone. Guys, if you've got any questions or if you want to have a chat with me live, come on to it. Just put that link in the bottom, which is the Learning Pro .live/stream, and I'll bring you in onto the screen. I'd love to get a few people in and for us to have a bit of a robust chat instead of it just being about me, because this is about the Learning Pros, right? This is us. So some of the things that I did initially to prepare myself for the situation that, I was going to go freelance. So I started thinking about going freelance. I started sending out a few messages to companies like the Elearning brothers. So just looked out for things that were on LinkedIn, people who were looking for freelance designers. And I just thought, right, well, if I can keep money coming in, or if I can have a go with this. And I spoke to some people. For some, it wasn't going to be ideal, but for others, I thought this sounds like an interesting project, and I gave it a go. We've got quite a lot of people now tuned in, and I'm excited because I'd love for you guys to come on screen with me and talk to me. It's Caitlin. Okay, come on screen with me. Okay, go to the learningpro.live/stream. Okay, I'd love for you to come on and talk to me, Caitlin. And anyone else, I've got quite a few people tuned in. I really want to try and, instead of it just me talking, have other people on. What am I doing here? Let me try and turn that off. Sorry, I'm getting these notifications saying that there is an issue with my goodness, I'm an absolute mess today. There's an issue with LinkedIn, and this is where most people come through for. So Caitlin, come on screen with me and have a chat. yeah, so I reached out, I was looking for little opportunities on LinkedIn and applied for some of those. That gave me a few little gigs that made me feel, oh, I can do this. But what I also did was I started doing some mock-ups. So I took big brands and I just started thinking about, if this brand came to me, what could I potentially do? Is there a little interactive? I tried to think about the kind of work that I wanted to do, not kind of mind-numbing e-learning, just information dumps. I tried to think about, can I create a nice little interactive that I could go to Coca-Cola with, or I could go to a cinema chain. It could be a little interactive on the different types of cards, membership cards that they've got, or anything. So I just started thinking about little concepts that I could do, and I just started building things. And I was preparing myself basically that the companies that I wanted to work with, I could flick over little prototypes, and I could basically say, look, I'm a learning designer. I really love your brand. This was a little prototype that I did. I can create all different kinds of experiences, whether it's a learning experience or whether it's something that you want as a marketing tool. And so that's what I was planning on doing. Guys, there's loads of people tuning in here. Come on, jump on screen with me. The learningpro.live/stream. I know the link's working. Let's have a go. Pro.live/stream. Yeah, it works. No one's coming. All right. So you're making me nervous. So yeah, these were the kind of things that I did. I also spent quite a lot of time thinking about the kind of products that I wanted to do. Shy, come on the screen. Come on, Caitlin, come on the screen. See? This is her. She's saying she's shy. I really don't want this just to be about me talking. I'd love this to be a great, robust conversation. In fact, I'm going to flick a few messages off to people because I'm conscious that let me just get that link. So I'm gonna send it off to a few people. Let's see who I've got. Let me see if I can get some people on here. Okay, just bear with me. Right, I'm going to send a message to some people and see if they can come on. And I'm going to send one more to my favorite person. Let me see if I can get Devlin on here. Right, so I've sent a few things because I know people are tuned in. I want you guys to come on to the to the screen and onto the feed and have a chat with me. Yeah, so there's loads of things that I was thinking about. I was thinking about how I wanted to make sure that I was marketing myself to create certain types of learning experiences. And I wanted those to be in, I thought, I can create little prototypes for my portfolio, etc. Let's see if this actually works. I can get anyone on the screen with me. But ultimately, I had to think about who I wanted to work with, the kind of work that I wanted to do. And, that very first job that I had, if it didn't lead to the next one, which it just naturally always did, Well, Emma Pawson saying she doesn't look very good. I'm trying to get Emma on. So I'm just like, do it. So I had to think about the kind of work and what I was going to do to reach out to those people. Here she is.
Hello.
Hello.
What's
How are you?
happening? Good.
So Emma Pawson, thank you very much for having the courage to come on, because we've got people tuned in. Caitlin won't come on the screen. I'm trying to get people on to chat about finding our first clients.
All right. What do you want? What questions do you have?
Well, it's not really questions. I just wanted to just start a conversation. So basically, I chatted to Amanda yesterday, and she said, she basically said that Clubhouse was really good, but one of the things that was missing was, she says she loves the live stream, but how could we recreate Clubhouse on this? And that's why I set it up. So basically, anyone who's here can jump on that link and can come onto the screen, and I can have up to 10 people talking. But nobody is wanting to jump on screen with me. So I sent one to you, I sent one to Amanda, I sent one to Devlin. No one's answering me. So I just, but Emma's working right now. So this is a bit of a disaster.
Sorry, I just had to put my dog outside.
Oh, the dog. So do you have a few minutes to talk, or are you busy? Do you need to
Yeah,
go?
for you, Kath, I have minutes and minutes.
So finding first client. So I was basically just saying that when I initially was wanting to go freelance, I was just looking for any opportunity, anything that just sparked my interest on LinkedIn, and then just applying for it. And jumped on that. And then, in the back of my mind, like the conversations we've had, in the back of my mind, like, what am I going to do if that next work doesn't lead to another bit of work? And how I was kind of planning on doing some prototypes for companies that I wanted to, I wanted to work with. Tom's just saying here, I feel like I've missed something. What's gone wrong, Kath? Tom, I want you to click on this link. I want you to come onto the screen and talk to me. I don't want it to just be me talking. I want others on the screen. So click on that link so you can come in and chat with me. If you're in your pajamas, it doesn't matter. Okay? Tom's in the UK, so he's probably nighttime there. So what's your thing on it? Because you've been through the same kind of journey and worry about, where am I going to get these first clients? And the thing is, once you start getting clients, it's just a natural attrition. You get the next one. Because I think it gives you a bit of confidence as well. You get that boost, you get that first client, and then you might start interacting more on LinkedIn, and you just start doing more things.
I mean, I'm not probably the best person to talk to about this because I don't actively look for clients. I'm
Well,
getting
neither do
feedback.
I.
I'm getting feedback through my mic. Are you getting feedback from me?
No, let me turn my speakers off.
Okay, let me hear. Okay, that's better.
Is
Yeah,
that better?
I can hear myself twice. Yeah. So I was really lucky that my first
I
ever
can't hear you.
Oh, we're on right bloody laugh now, aren't we?
Mm.
So just keep talking.
Yeah, I can hear you now, but I couldn't hear you through my. Are you having feedback now?
No, I can't hear myself now. Here's Tom.
Okay.
Hey. Oh, we
Yes, we have Tom, my fellow English brother. How are you?
Yes, very good. Thank you. Yourself?
Ah, very good. We've got a Welsh girl, Emma,
Thanks for not
and we've
calling
got
me English.
fabulous Tom.
Yeah, so just continuing on from my story, I was really lucky that my first client was a referral. Like someone was approached for some work, they couldn't do it, so then they gave my name. And then I feel like it's like waiting for a bus. What's the saying? Like you have none and then they all come at once.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a weird view. Yeah.
it is a weird view.
And so I'm probably a bad person, but in saying that, I say I don't look for clients, but I've been recently upping my game on Instagram and stuff, and then
Yeah.
reposting it onto LinkedIn, and that seems to be getting a good bit of traction.
That's good.
Yeah.
But when I met you, okay, you were a teacher who was in Australia.
Yep.
Oh, you were in Queensland.
I was.
Right. So, teacher in Queensland, wanted to move into instructional design. And we've known each other for 2 years, and you're already out there doing it, kicking ass.
Probably more like 3.5, 4 years now.
Has it been that long since we've known each other?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I know. So I left
Good
teaching
times.
3 years ago. So yeah, at the time I was when I was transitioning out of teaching, I was just applying for jobs as a learning designer at companies I really wanted to work for. So I was being
Yeah.
quite selective, which I think is quite unusual when you're transitioning. But I was quite a senior teacher, so I was really like trying not to drop my pay too much. So I was quite particular. And what
Yeah.
I found, I applied for 5 jobs, and out of those 5 jobs, I was offered an interview for 3.
Yeah.
I took 2 of the interviews and I got 1 of the jobs. So I feel like I was pretty lucky in that sense.
Yeah.
As a teacher, we have quite transferable skills, but that was my first job in learning design.
But you have to be hungry for it, right?
Mm.
Like you have to really want it. Like it's like anything in life. If you know, sometimes I think if you really, really want to work for a client, if you just harass them in a positive way, for long enough, they'll give you a chance as well if there's places that you want to work for. Because that's what I want. I want someone to be, pretty. Not that I can really work with anyone, but you understand. I want to hear someone's passion that they really want to do it. What
Yeah,
about you, Tom?
Yeah.
Well, funny enough, that's exactly how I got my first client. I harassed someone into giving me some freelance work by just every couple of weeks. Anything available? Need any help with anything? Anyone let you down? Just because their content was cool. So that does work, although I'm not sure it's a long-term solution to finding clients, if I'm honest. But it's funny, like we at the end of or middle of last year, we for the first time took on other people into the business, and that's exactly what we were looking for. We actually no one that we brought in had any experience in the learning design world, but they were super passionate, super engaged, creative people that wanted to get involved. And I think that's probably the best move we ever made, certainly from my perspective, because I'm now working with people who want to be doing what we're doing and don't necessarily say, well, we've done it this way for 20 years, so I think there's a lot of value to that. And I think a lot of people are concerned when trying to get clients. They go, oh, I can't say that I've got 40 years of experience. Like, that's a good thing. Present that as a good thing.
That could be better.
Because, there are a lot of people in the business saying, I've got 30 years experience. And you think, yes, and your work looks like it came from 25 years of that experience ago. Not everyone. There are some people with lots of experience
Damn, I
who do
wish I had my
excellent
sound
work.
effects like a burn.
Yeah, no, this
it's true. It's true though.
But I think again, I always have to sort of clarify those things. But it's not everyone. But not having experience doesn't mean you can't get that first client or get that first job. It's all about how you present the facts that you've got very little experience and why that is.
Yeah. And willing to learn, right? And just open to learning and failing and all the stuff that we do in learning design. It's literally how I transitioned into it. And I went into a completely different field. I became like this jack of all trades. I was the only one in the department. ended up being an LMS administrator, learning designer, education consultant, all of the above, and you just make it work. And yeah, I think the passion definitely helps.
I think that's one of my concerns, because I think not for everyone, but niching is becoming like a really big thing. Everyone needs to find, I've got to just be really good at one thing. That worries me, because I couldn't survive as a freelancer if I could only do one thing.
Tom, if I hear the word niche one more time, they're going to get a roundhouse kick to their head, right?
But it's such a big
Because
word
it's
in
bullshit.
the industry. It's
our industry is already niched.
Yeah.
Well, this was kind of what I thought.
I'm actually hearing freelance learning designers going, "Oh, I'm being told that I need to niche to fucking hospitality," and I'm like,
Good luck with
by
that.
who? And let me tell you, I have never had one type of person reach out to me. And I think if you want to live that boring life of doing that, as far as I'm concerned, we're already very niche in itself. Sorry, I'm a little bit passionate about that. It just annoys the crap out of me. So,
well, I certainly don't work with the same clients over and over again. But then, in saying that, I've worked in healthcare as an employee, and I have got some clients from healthcare, and that's a bonus. And some of them like it, but then it's not essential.
No.
So,
and I think I get a lot of people. I get a lot of people through government types coming through me because of maybe on my work experience. I've done things with the police and the fireys and things like that. But I'm starting to get a lot of people come through with disability because of the disability connection that I have. So it just seems, there may be somewhat that kind of thing, but to actually market yourself as only doing one type of learning. Do you remember Anne Peed? Remember Anne, who used to come into the Hangout? So we had talked at one time about doing like an emergency services e-learning and just niching to that. But it would have been very likely that we wouldn't have got clients. And as a freelancer, you want to I think you want the variety as well, don't you reckon, Tom?
Yeah, I mean, I always kind of felt that if you're going to have a niche, you may as well just get a full-time job working for one company. Isn't that what that is? That's what that role is.
Exactly. Groundhog Day,
I had that. I spent 2 years writing about water. Yay. That's why I became a freelancer, was to stop doing that. So yeah, it always felt a bit of a backwards bit of advice for me, but it's very popular. That's
interesting. And I think what the unique thing about us and the niche part of what we do is that we can adapt to any subject matter, because we're not the subject matter expert. That's not our role here.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it was like our conversation yesterday about user experience, Emma. It's a process, as you said, and how long is a piece of string? It depends on what exactly the client wants. So again, I'm getting warnings here saying that this isn't going out on LinkedIn. I don't know why, guys.
Is it on YouTube?
I'm just going to remove it. But I think that, this whole niche thing. I personally don't want to niche down any further, because I want to have that variety of doing different things. And when a client comes to me, I can offer them a variety of different things. So something that I'm getting a lot of people reaching out to me, Tom, and I don't know about you, is entrepreneurs who want to sell their product online. So they're an expert in a certain field. They're wanting to have some help creating e-learning, and it's a very different solution that I sell them than I sell a corporation who needs kind of an induction package, because you're not selling them the standard LMS. You're not selling a SCORM package. You know, there are clients who do need that if they're kind of on selling to schools or back into organizations that have LMSs, but the majority of them are needing like a teachable, thinkific kind of thing. And,
Yeah.
you know, so again, you know, you've just got to, as a freelancer, and I know the three of us are fairly creative because we are constantly looking and seeing what's happening out there and then trying to learn about it so that if you have a client, it's not, I mean, what are you going to say? Oh, no, sorry, I don't do anything but SCORM. Good luck with that, you know. So you want to try and make sure that you've got a good breadth of solutions that you can offer clients, you know.
And I think there's like a huge marketing strategy behind niching. I'm sure there's some thing behind it. Not that that's something I've explored, but I've not needed to. I genuinely have not needed to. And I think your reputation and word of mouth is huge. So as long as you're building those really good relationships with your clients, they come back and then they recommend you.
It's funny on that exact point. I was speaking to someone. In fact, it was on your platform, Kath. Someone was speaking about their first proposal, and they were saying about, oh, I'm still relying on word of mouth, and I sort of said, don't say you're still relying on that. You know, for us, even though we're now 4 people, word of mouth is still almost all of our business. And it's the good business as well. It's the business that I'd like to keep. I always say the clients that approach us more professionally, wanting a better term, are the clients that sometimes I wish had never spoken to us. It's that kind of thing. The word of mouth people hear the things that you do as opposed to what they think you do, which is incredibly useful. And I would say that for us, we actually took our website down 7 months ago because we were having issues and we weren't happy with it. We weren't quite sure where the business was going to go. We were going to pivot. Then the pandemic happened and our pivot into on-site video production, that wasn't going to work anymore. So that website was scrapped. We've not had any shortage of business without a website or any web presence because of that word of mouth. Obviously that's not a long-term solution again, but that's the power of that word of mouth. And that's only from a few jobs, and then people will just spread the word. You do a bad job, they spread the word the other way, obviously. But it's for us, that's always been the primary marketing drive, as opposed to, oh, word of mouth will keep us going. It's word of mouth is everything, and if someone comes through the web, great, that's an added bonus.
So I'm part of do you know Ran Segal? Have you heard of a YouTuber called Ran Segal?
No.
He's got it. I'll just quickly show it for anyone who's interested. He's got the Flux Academy, and this is what it looks like. Ooh, what did I just do? Let me just share my screen. So this is Ran, and he's got a very successful YouTube channel, and he's very generous in the way that he shares his content and his knowledge. And he's got a business that he sells training on how to use like Webflow, and you know, he's got a course basically how to become a freelancer. And what's the other course he's got? So he's got the Webflow masterclass. And anyway, he's got 2 other ones, which I'm part of. And one of the things that he was talking about is niching down, right? One's the $10,000 website, and one is something like the 100 grand freelancer, right? And he's quite good in the way that he does a lot of he calls it office hours. And part of the office hours that he did on niching, there was obviously a lot of web developers in there, and he was asking everyone, can you put in your comments what niche you would like to work in, right? So this is web development. And I just said, learning, right? And he just said, oh, fantastic niche, right? Fantastic niche. And it just got me thinking a little bit. We are already so small. We are not like website developers that there's that much demand that we need to niche down to get business, you know? So there were people there that were going, oh, you know, I'm niching into beauty, or I'm niching into, you know, travel, or I'm niching into whatever. This was me. I'm niching into learning. Oh, great. Yeah, that's an absolute fantastic industry to niche into, right? And it just got me thinking, you know, to niche any further than that, is that really limiting us as a freelancer? You know, in the way that our SEO, I mean, I was really interested because I've heard these buzzwords around our industry for niching. So I started doing research on SEO, like really searching. Here's Devlin, he's going to join in. Hi, Devlin.
Hey.
We're just I just thought I'd invite you in, Devlin. And I'm trying to get 10 on the screen, right?
Oh, wow.
But Caitlin will not come on the screen. The link is there, Caitlin. I want to see you in 5 minutes on this screen, okay? So
shall we all just log in a second time?
about...
Is that the plan?
Pardon?
Should we all just log in a second time? That's
yeah. So we're just talking about niching, and we're actually talking about finding our first client, and we talked about niching, and of course I exploded and said I absolutely drives me mental.
Yeah.
But you know, my point of view is, you know, I did some research. Like I went and I searched how many people are searching for L&D, you know, travel, or, you know, instructional design for the travel industry, or instructional design for whatever. It's just not happening. People are just looking for an instructional designer. And I think I've said to a few people, I've been quite aggressive about this actually. And I said, does Kathy Moore have a niche? No. Does Tim Slade have a niche? No. Does Devlin Peck have a niche? No. Well, somewhat, you could say, but he doesn't market himself as just an just an X API, you know. But anyway, you know, I want to give people the confidence that they don't have to worry about this thing right now. Just stay very general and just think about who you want to work for, and, you know, look for opportunities. Look what's out there on LinkedIn. If you're working full time, and I'm talking to you here, Caitlin, I know you've got about 2 minutes to get on screen here, so you better hurry up. If I'm talking to you, Caitlin, though, if you know, this is something, for example, that you're looking at in the future, or anyone else who's tuning in, it's really about giving it a go and seeing if this is for you, because you're better trying it while you're working full time, unless your job won't permit it and you need to start asking for permission. You know, you might find it's not for you. You go, oh, I hate this. You know, I actually feel like I do need more support for the time being. And then, you know, what happens? You've left a job that you love, maybe, and then you're out there on your own, you know, so you better just trying it while you're working. What do you guys think?
With niching, like I feel like it makes sense if you already have like a lot of expertise and like authority in a specific industry. And like there's this one woman, her name is Carrie Avery, and she's in this like Slack community, and she does like all sorts of training and stuff for like law enforcement agencies. And then she starts getting people reaching out to her like internationally from like international law enforcement agencies to like do training for them. But she's less of like, she's definitely not positioning herself as like an e-learning designer. It's more of like a business consultant who's like helping these, I guess not a business consultant, but yeah, it seems like it makes sense when you have a lot of this deep industry expertise and you're going to come out, you know, and then you're going to use your learning skill set and consulting skill set to like help them. But if you're like e-learning designer, like I want to design e-learning, like, yeah, that's like pretty niche already, it seems like.
I suppose that's what I'm trying to say. We're already a niche industry rather than going niching further. What's her name? Caitlin Avery?
I don't know what her web presence is like, but her name is Carrie, Kerry Avery. I just have seen her talk on this Slack channel. I haven't been to her site or anything.
I think that's interesting because it almost sounds like at that point she's marketing herself in equal parts as a kind of learning designer and actually almost like a business consultant in that particular area. So it's almost a completely different business proposition to what I think most of the learning world is offering.
Yeah, exactly. And it was nice hearing her talk about that, but I'm like, she's doing like a different kind of work than what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because she has like, now she has this really deep understanding of this specific type of organization, and yeah, cool.
So this looks like this is her business. Is it maybe? Let's see.
It would be good to see some examples because,
Law enforcement, yeah,
this is what everyone's been told we need to be doing right now, but I haven't seen any examples of learning designers who do it. So
niching, you're saying everyone's being told they should do?
Niching. So if there are people who niche successfully within the niche of learning design, it'd be good to know who's doing it well and what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, learning design seems like a niche of design to me. Like it's, yeah, like if like Cath is saying, if you're looking at what people are searching for, yeah, it's so general. Sorry, I'm hearing an echo also, so I'm like getting distracted by that.
I think it's cats, and we'll blame her.
Is that better?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
So I'd love to know her experience. It wouldn't surprise me if she's come from law enforcement. Like
I wouldn't be surprised at all. Yeah.
Yeah. And I can see why she'd be drawn to it. It's probably she's got years worth of experience within that realm. That's good to know. You know,
she's the one example I think of when it's like someone who has niched in a more specific organization or agency or that type of niche. But
I've been hearing comments from people saying, no, everyone should be niching down. And that's where, I don't particularly think that would work for me. I don't want to niche to the point that someone comes to me and looks at my website and goes, oh, she does, disability e-learning. That's fine. I'd probably get lots of work from that, but it's not something that I particularly want to do either. Like Tom said, if you want to do that, why don't you just get a job and go and work in, that's what a job is. It's just a niche.
So I've struggled a lot with like positioning and like how do I want to position myself, and I feel like this is kind of related to that niching talk. And every time I do like a website refresh or like a landing page, people will say like, oh, did you use like StoryBrand or like the brand script to do this? Like, are you familiar with that? Like Donald Miller? And I'm always like, no, like I don't know what that is. And I've like been to the site, but after being asked that enough times, I'm like, okay, I need to actually look at what this thing is. So I got the book. I think it's literally just called Story Brand, and I've been really liking it. I've been like obsessed with it this last week and like workshopping all of these different like what do I want my like story brand to be, kind of like what is, and it's kind of cool. I mean, it basically talks about like the main points of a story and how like the person who you're serving is like the hero of the story and you're the guide. And it talks about, and it helps you identify like all these different parts of the story in relation to like the hero, which is like, you know, your audience. So that's been helping me a lot think about my positioning, especially when I'm at this point where I feel like I want to do more work for other instructional designers and helping other IDs versus helping clients. But it's pretty cool. I have some cool stuff in the works, and I'm gonna I'm gonna redo my site in line with what I've been workshopping. So it'll be
That
cool to
sounds
get that
good.
online and see if it resonates with people.
Yeah, I haven't heard of this. So why do they think you're using this function?
What was that? Why did they think
Why
so?
do they think you're using Story Brand? Is it because of the way you formatted your website?
No, it's about the messaging. So my approach is always like, oh, what are the benefits? You know, like benefits over features. Like, what are the problems my customers are facing? Which is like general, like, you know, how to write a landing page. That sort of stuff comes up. But I guess I was touching on some of these elements, and people who are familiar with this framework like saw, because once you learn this, like you start looking at everything like from this lens. It's like, I mean, I'm imagining that's what happens to people, and like the author says, this is going to start happening. So people started like seeing what I was doing on my landing page like through the lens of this story brand thing. So I think they were just like, oh, did you follow story branding? It looks like you did. And I'm like, no, I haven't heard of it. But now that I am learning about it, I'm like, wow, this is so much easier. Like I'm always stressing about like positioning and stuff, but this has made it a lot more like approachable. So, hi. Oh, that's Caitlin, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I'm going to
I
jump off,
think that
guys.
this is why I see so many You're going, Emma? Oh.
Bye,
See,
Emma.
I can hardly hear because I had to turn my volume down so low. I think this is why I think there's so much alignment with the sometimes I say that e-learning's a bit like sales, you know, say you want that behavioral change. That's what the WIFM, the what's in it for me, is so important when you're writing your learning. But it's exactly, I think a lot of the things are exactly the same in web development. You know, that you're talking about this is you know, we've been talking about this ourselves, Devlin, you know, writing that landing page or writing different content, basically, instead of it being focusing on we're going to have this many modules, for example, it's at the end of this is what you'll be able to achieve. These are the goals that you've always wanted that you'll be able to achieve from it. So, but I think these are all really good and interesting conversations, and I encourage anyone that if this is the direction that they want to go, that they're not they you know, while you're feeling safe in your bubble, while you're working, and Tom, if you feel this way as well, you know, when you started out, let me know. But for me, I was scared. You know, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. And you know, the only person that I had to worry about was my wife, and she said, just there's nothing to, you know, I'm here. What's the worst that's going to happen? Give it a go. Take on a project, see how you like it. And it worked out well. And that client went to, you know, I've got another one, I've got another one, I've got another one. And it just ended up, well, I've got so much work in the pipeline here that it's now just the natural thing to just, you know, call it quits and start my own job. And you're a bit different, Devlin, because you came straight out of your master's and started freelancing, didn't you?
Yeah, the same the same semester I started my master's, like I knew long term, because like part of my vision coming into this field was like, wow, I might be able to work from my laptop and like travel and maybe do a little bit of this digital nomading stuff. Because before that I was looking at like teaching or going to grad school for English, and this had like way more possibilities. So I was like, let me see if I can make this work. So as soon as I started my master's program, I'm like on Upwork, like, trying different avenues for landing that first client. But I always thought like, yeah, I would have to be working full time for a couple of years because that's what everyone suggests, and like basically say you need to do that to like get contacts and experience and everything. But yeah, I just hustled as much as I could while I was doing that master's program, taking on work, building my portfolio. And then the last semester, my girlfriend at the time, my wife now, we're in Berlin for a couple of months. I was like taking one master's class, and we just got a call about this like really big like contract, which was like, part-time, turned into like a nightmare contract, but it sounded great. And it was like basically a full-time salary for like a contract. And I was like, wow, we can do that. We have these other clients we're working with, and like other leads are coming in through LinkedIn and stuff. So we're like, we can make this freelancing thing work full time. So just went forward with that.
But you're very unique. Like a lot of people, you were straight on it. And I'd say you're very unique as well, that you're very strong with your dev work, with your technical skills. Whereas that's something that is the most scary thing for a lot of, I'd say, people who want to go freelancing, because there's not a lot of people who can do the end to end. They have to rely on, they might be stronger in the ID and the dev, so for example, coming from an agency, I could do the dev work, but I had been an instructional designer. So when it got to the dev work, part of my team was a project manager, myself, and a developer. So it would be handed then over to a developer. But now that's what I love. It's a bit like you, Tom, love doing the dev work as well. So I like that I'm doing from, woe to go. But there's, again, if you're in that position and you're a freelancer, there's loads of freelancers out there. You'll just start trying using people. You might go, that was a great experience, I'm going to use them again. You might go, that was a bit hit and miss. And you'll just keep refining until you find the person that you think is cracking. I mean, we won't name any names, but I mean, you've found some cracking dev people, Devlin. I know you've told me that, and I've been stuck with little bits. I've needed to troubleshoot a couple of little things that I just can't work out. Those hours, Tom, when you're just looking at something, you're like, oh my God, inarticulate storyline. Why can't I make this work? And you just need someone to go, yeah, it's that.
Why do you think I'm so often up when your show airs, Cath? Those are my evenings. Yeah. That's but I think that's kind of an argument for being a somewhat of a generalist, as you were saying right at the start, is that if the danger of, whether you call it niching or specializing or whatever, is that when something like that comes up, you don't have the choice. You have to go and pay someone else. And as a freelancer, I always think that's especially with your first client, that's a dangerous position to be in. If you cannot do everything that client needs, you're at the mercy of someone else. And that first contract is going to play such a big role in how you're perceived in the industry, that you want to know you can absolutely ace it. So I know that was some of the early mistakes I made, was taking on stuff and thinking, I'll get someone else in. And if you can find someone else, great, but you've got to find those right people. And the right people tend to charge right people kind of money, which again, in your first contracts is probably not what you want to be paying out. But but it was interesting. I had a slightly different
gigs, those things that you think that you can do. Let's say you're all over Articulate Storyline. You're like, I can do this. Someone contacts you, or you see a gig. Someone needs a PowerPoint developed into a storyline. Do you know what? Here's what I'll say. this may be a terrible thing that I'm going to recommend. Make a hideous PowerPoint, the most hideous PowerPoint you can, right? Or find one on the internet and make a module for it and just stick it in your portfolio and say, this was a piece of work that I did, right? No one needs to know it's for nobody, just make a logo on it or take the logo out. That's what a lot of people would do anyway. And but anyway, I'd suggest, yes, like you, Tom, if someone comes to you and says, we're at Volkswagen and we want like a 360 virtual environment made, and you're like, oh, this will be a nice first project, I suggest no, that maybe isn't going to be a good one.
I wouldn't take that
go
one
with
now.
something that you feel confident with, and it'll be a win. Be a great win, and you can just you go, oh, that felt so good, and they loved it, and you move on to the next project. And we've got Valentina. She says, life events forced me to go into freelancing without work experience. I cannot decide now if I want to continue freelancing. I'm stuck at finding clients and negotiating budgets, or I want to get a job.
We should bring Valentina up.
I know. I'd have to sacrifice other important things in life. Valentina, do you want to jump on? Here's the link. Just jump on and chat with us. Come on, you want to do it. Yeah, especially these times right now, COVID crazy times, there's lots of people who are wanting to get into ID and freelancing and things like that. And I know you say I'm stuck at finding clients. We'd love to chat to you actually, and see what exactly are you finding. What are you doing? Like what is how are you going about finding clients? Is there? We're in a world now that everywhere needs to have pretty much online learning, right? And it's a struggle for every industry and for most businesses. Even with Microsoft, what was it called? What's the new one that just came out? The LMS Views?
Oh, Viva,
right?
this
I'm
is my thing of the
telling
day. I'm so excited.
LMS companies are going to be pooping in their pants, right? That this is part of the Microsoft network, because these people have been, rorting, dare I say, the industry for so long, and to have something that's is it part of the Microsoft? It's just part of the product, is it?
Yeah, the Vivo elements. There's 3. They come together to build a full experience platform, all sat within Microsoft Teams. The biggest thing being every business that has Microsoft, and let's be honest, which business isn't Microsoft based these days, now has an LMS inside their package. Why would they buy another one? That's going to be amazing.
I was thinking last night, I've got my wife's business with Google, and I'm thinking maybe we need to move, maybe we need to move over. But, I'd say that all of these companies are going to need content made, right? They're going to need the advice on how to create content. And is Valentina saying anything? She's gone quiet. What's going on, Valentina? So, I'd say that we're at a prime opportunity right now to reach out to people. You really, and, I advocate this all the time. So does Devlin. Portfolios, man, you need to have some kind of presence out there so you can showcase your work. It's not like back in the day where you carried around your folder with printouts of e-learning that you used to show people. It's not that way anymore. You need to have a portfolio or put it on LinkedIn so that you can at least open up something and show some bits of work. Now, there are people in the industry as well who say you don't need a portfolio. And I'll say, don't go to anyone who doesn't have a portfolio, because you're not seeing any of their work. How do you know the quality of their work? It may not be even that it's a visual type of work. If they blog a lot about something or do videos about something, at least you know that they're knowledgeable about the topic. But I'd encourage them to have some kind of presence out there, that they are showing that they are a thought leader in this. In this. So Valentina said tried to get on, but got a message. Tried to get on, but got. So is this something? Let's have a look. Let me see if it's not working anymore.
If not, it may be that I'm not sure if anyone else is on StreamYard tried to log on using a Mac device. It can be a bit of an ordeal because they don't get on well with inbuilt webcams on the Mac devices.
So it's working for me. If you try maybe on a different browser, Valentina, even in an incognito window or something. Tom said Macs are a problem if you're on a Mac. And you know what, Valentina, we're going to wrap this up in a minute. So if you can't get on now, we will do this again. But what I will say is that I had a great conversation with Amanda Newham, and we were talking about Clubhouse. We tried Clubhouse yesterday. And again, that's limited to people with an iOS device. And she said, I really liked it, but I like the live streams, but I also don't like that it's limiting with people on the screen. So I said, right, well, if I do a link, I can bring up to 10 people on, and people can drop in and drop out, and we can maybe try this for a little while.
Yeah,
so it just allows more. What do you think, Devlin?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say when I was like, bring Valentina up. It's because I've been on Clubhouse all week and everyone's on here chatting, and that's what it feels like now. So I'm like, hop on here, let's chat about it, because that's what it's like on Clubhouse. Which is why I like it, because everyone shares the stage.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. That's why I said, okay, I'm going to make this link, and every time I go live, anyone can jump on, and I'm in control of who comes in. So if someone, is trying to hijack it, well, I'm in control of who comes in. So, well, look, Valentina, if you can't come in, that's all. If it's all right, we're gonna go. I'm gonna go live again tomorrow. We gonna have a think about what I want to talk about tomorrow. I might just talk about how we are creative, how we think creatively, where we go for inspiration. That's what I was thinking tomorrow. So hopefully we will be on LinkedIn tomorrow. It seemed like the link failed through to LinkedIn, which is annoying. However, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Devlin, thank you for jumping in. And Tom, you are a legend, mate. What time is it over there in the UK?
1 minute to midnight.
Oh,
wow.
1 minute to midnight. How is it in Blighty at the moment? Is it cold?
Yes, it is currently -3 outside. So we've had some snow, which has been nice. I say nice because I don't have to leave the house. That's the upside of lockdown, I suppose.
Well, it's about 23 maybe here. I want to say it's 23.
Celsius,
yeah.
Oh.
So let's see.
It's
26 right now. And Devlin, you're in beautiful, sunny Miami.
It is 23 Celsius here as well. Just had to Google it, but 23.
You know what? Miami's just like that all year round. It's just
basically
nice.
Yep. Cool. Well,
it's
it was nice
life living in Miami, Tom.
Oh.
I get uncomfortable at anything above 18 degrees. So these these are probably places for me to avoid. That's.
I have very English skin, so I just become like a beetroot. So in the heat. Well, it was great chatting. Valentina has enjoyed it. She said, thank you, great talk, just what I needed before starting my day. And Caitlin, went very quiet, but she said great talk too. So tomorrow, let's try and do this. Let's try and create Clubhouse on here, get people in, and I think that becomes a richer conversation than just me talking.
Yeah, that
I'll
sounds
see if
fun.
I can line up a few people to jump in and do this, because this is what the Learning Pro Live is. This is not me. This is us, and how we can all become better at our craft and learn from one another and just kick ass.
Nice.
So,
Awesome.
thank you very much, guys. See you this time tomorrow.
All right.
Okay.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.